Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for clicking on this video. This video is a second video in my series of unpopular philodendrons. And today I wanted to talk to you about this philodendron bannoniae. And perhaps I'll first show you a little bit the plant. You can see that it has very long strappy leaves, and if you look a little bit at the rest of the plant, you will see this. Now, why do I use this plant in my series of unpopular philodendrons? The reason is actually very simple. If you look up this philodendron on the internet, YouTube, wherever, it's very hard to find any information about this philodendron. It's not particularly rare, it's not very expensive, it's actually quite cheap, but there is very little information to be found about this philodendron actually anywhere. Now, I got this plant in July 2021, and we are now the 11th of January, and all this growth that you see is from 7, or not even 7 months, actually 6 months, because when I bought this plant it was actually just, let's say, up to here. So all this has been growing in the last half year. So that's the first thing that's obvious with this plant. It's a very, very fast grower. And you might wonder why this plant is growing like this. It looks as if it's a climber, but it's as if it's a crawler, but it's actually definitely a climber. What happened is that when I got this plant, and as I said, it was just like these leaves and all the rest wasn't there yet, I potted it in my arid mix, a very chunky mix, and I actually potted it up wrong. I should have potted it up in such a way that this stem should have gone vertically, should have gone up, and attach it to a moss pole or a stick or something. But actually I was a little bit negligent with this plant, and I just ignored that it started growing sideways, and by the time that I thought that it was better to put it up against a pole or a moss pole, it was actually already too long to pull it back towards the base of the plant without snapping it off. So this is the way it is right now. So I kind of mistreated this plant. I also mistreated it, if you can see this here. This is no disease. These are just spots where those leaves have touched or were very close to my growing lights. Because this plant grew so awkwardly, at several times I noticed that one of those very long leaves was actually burning because it was against the growing lights. So actually, what can I do now to make this philodendron grow upwards again? I could do two things. First of all, I could repot it and shift the way the plant is potted up now in this pot, and make sure that I tilt it so that the long stem that you see here will be perfectly, or more or less perfectly, vertical again, and then I could put a stick close to it. Or the second option that I have, and I think that's what I'm gonna do, I could chop it up. You can see that there's aerial roots more or less everywhere. And if I would chop up this plant, but I'm going to wait a little bit until this new leaf here is a little bit more mature, but I would chop it up. I would cut the plant here, because you see a small growing out here, a small aerial root. I would cut it up here, 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 and probably even here, so that there is nothing that is sticking out of the pot. So that's my intention with this plant. I will keep you updated about how the propagations are going, but I think it should be fine if you look how many aerial roots this plant is showing everywhere. Actually, I don't think that propagation in water will be a big problem. So apart from the fact that this is a very, very fast grower, it's also a very easy plant. Why do I say this? That is because, first of all, this plant doesn't really care about humidity. I do have a humidifier running in this place, but this plant is far away from the humidifier, and it doesn't really care that it's not particularly in a humid environment very close to the humidifier. And secondly, I have noticed that this plant doesn't mind at all that the soil dries out completely before I water it again. So I would say it's a very easygoing plant and a very fast grower. I think for the moment that's it about the philodendron bannoniae. Thank you very much for clicking on this video. Please like if you feel like it, and I'll see you in another video. Thank you. Bye-bye.